Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Parent Cafe podcast. My name is Allie and I'm here with Sarah as usual, and we're going to be talking about unsolicited advice when it comes to like parenting, having your first child, even like pregnancy. Before that, there's a lot of it that floats around out there, so we want to get to the bottom of it all.
Have you got them on a routine yet?
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. It's just like, I remember being so stressed about it because we didn't have a routine.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I literally like went like pen and paper, like documented to see like our routine, like, because like
Right.
everyone's like, is she on a routine? You need to get her on a routine, like blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, was that important?
Right. I honestly, I have my own opinion on this. And again, like to some people, my opinion and your opinion.
Yeah.
I think we kind of have similar thoughts when it comes to this, but like our thoughts might upset people who follow routines religiously.
Yes.
So like keeping that in mind, because everybody likes to do things their own way, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like having a routine as a new mom is the most stressful thing in the world. Probably it's more stressful to have to come up with a routine than it is to just fly by the seat of your pants and do it when you can, how you can. Because naturally, you're going to form a routine, whether you write it down or not. It just might not be to the minute.
Yes.
So instead of saying to yourself, 6 a.m., wake up, change diaper, 6:30 feeding, 7 o'clock play, 7:30 nap time, because then what happens, something's going to change, something's going to happen, baby's not feeling well, mom's not feeling well. If you miss that 7:30 nap time, you are going to start being like mean to yourself about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person. I
Yeah.
messed up the routine.
We shouldn't
Like,
have made that appointment. We shouldn't have played
exactly.
too long. Like,
Right.
yes.
But there's nothing wrong with like not having a routine.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with having a routine.
Yes.
But are you the kind of person that's thriving on that? Or are you hurting yourself by either doing it or not doing it?
Yes, I totally agree. Like some people, like I love a routine, but I don't want it like strict that it's down to like a time.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like it is playtime, but maybe playtime's an extra 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it's in this general time. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
we have to have a snack and we always have a snack.
Right.
And then we always have lunch like around the same time, but it's not like 12 o'clock noon. But
or the order is the same.
Yes, exactly. The order is the same. So like, because children do thrive off of routine. So it is good for them, but setting you up as a new mom with a newborn is unrealistic because they change so fast and they're constantly changing and your routine is constantly changing. So when it's changing and you're not adjusting fast enough with that, like you're so hard on yourself. And I see it so much with new parents.
Yes. And you're a new parent.
Yeah,
the
that
word
is the whole
the word right in front of that, new.
Yeah.
You absolutely have no idea what you are doing.
Not
and that is fine.
Yeah.
That's actually probably good. Like,
honestly,
you're learning. That's the whole thing, because then baby 2 might come along one day and you're just going to be like
learning that again.
Or I was so crazy with my first one. Why did I care so much?
Yes.
Right? Everyone notices that about their second. You hear stories where it's like, oh my God, with my first, it was like, they'll never sleep in bed with me. They'll never do this. I'll never eat this. I'll never show them this.
They'll never play with these toys.
Yeah. And then baby 2, you're like, whatever. Like,
good.
You're alive.
Yeah. You're fed.
Good.
You're changed.
Exactly. So I think like, totally there's so much blame though that we can put on all of the information that's out there that's like geared towards new parents, where it's like, you don't have to read it all. You don't have to, like, you are wired to do this naturally. You will know what you're doing. You'll figure it out.
the expectations are way too high. And yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, the information out there is making the expectations even higher. But
Yes.
really, all like that child needs is you
You.
to be like present,
Mm-hmm.
to be fed, and
Mm-hmm.
to be clean,
Mm-hmm.
and to
Well,
sleep.
and that's just it. Like, they're going to sleep when they're tired. And, if you've got a schedule, like you wrote it down and you're like 11 o'clock is nap time. And then that child is wired and like is actually
Yes.
just trying to have a poo right now and doesn't
Yeah.
want to
But you
go to
don't
sleep.
know that.
Right. Like, just go with the flow, because at the end of the day, as a parent, you'll be much happier knowing
Hmm.
that you are able to relax your situation at home. I understand where routines work. Like,
Yes.
you have a busy household, you need to get people out the door. Of course, you're thriving on a routine. But if you can do some self reflection, that's why I love this. If you can reflect on your life, on your day to day, and you can think to yourself, you know what? I'm pretty flexible. Like, it's baby and me all day
Hmm.
long.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone, nothing to get ready other than me and baby all day. And laundry doesn't get done, fine.
Hmm.
You don't get to clean something, fine. There's no supper tonight, someone else can cook it, or we're ordering a pizza. Like, the honestly, I could preach all day the struggle I have, like, listening to new parents be so hard on themselves.
So
I
hard.
just I just want to be like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what it is. Like, you, as much as we're talking about unsolicited advice, like it
mhm,
comes in, but it's us, like as parents, putting it back onto ourselves. Like, should
mhm,
we listen to that advice? Should we let that get under our skin?
exactly.
No, but it's because we're new. We don't
Mhm.
think we know what we're doing. So we
You're not
think we're
supposed
doing
to.
it wrong.
You're not supposed
But
to.
you automatically just think you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're
A
like, I'm
hundred years
failing.
ago, 100 years ago, we were still having babies, and you didn't have 10 books to read before you had it.
No, no.
There was maybe one book about how to cook for your husband.
Now they can just order their own
Yeah,
food.
exactly. So we don't even have to
Yeah,
read
like
that book. But
now
yeah,
we
that's
got
a good
takeout.
one. That's a good one.
That's
Do
the
you
one I
have a
see often.
routine yet?
Yeah,
Yeah. I maybe I do, maybe I don't.
yeah. You
Maybe
did
sometimes I do.
lead me into one of my like really the only one that I wrote down. That was, I don't want to say it my only like good advice I ever got. One I could remember. Um, it was like the mess and like the laundry will still
Mm,
be there,
mhm.
but like that time won't be.
Right.
So think of like that. Like, are you like not going to the beach that day with your friends because your house is a mess?
Mhm.
Like, no, I got to clean my house. I'm
Mhm.
so guilty of that sometimes too.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's like, hey, whatever.
Mhm.
We'll clean it tomorrow or whenever. Let's go
Mhm.
enjoy the beach today.
Yes. And there's a tip for that, because if you're the kind of person that finds stress in a messy house,
Hmm.
then you need to find ways to make your house
More manageable.
yeah, like unmessy.
Yeah.
So get rid of clutter.
Yeah. That goes back to our
Yep.
spring cleaning.
Exactly. Like, remove extra furniture that you don't use, don't need.
Yes.
Like, this is where it's like, if you're going to be stressed by
Stuff.
A, whatever this might be, can you get rid of it, make it smaller, make it less of an issue for
Dog
you?
hair. Can I
Yeah.
just get rid of the dog hair? I'll shave them. That will be, that's my issue.
No,
But no,
no,
I'm
but
just kidding.
maybe.
Yeah, instead, I had a broom and now I got a vacuum that vacuums them up.
I was
So
going
it's
to
so
say, maybe on your baby registry, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, I've got a couple dogs, the dog hair drives me nuts. I'm going to put a Roomba on my
yes.
registry, because I would rather someone buy me a Roomba than toys.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
think about
The
future
things that
you.
will help you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. Love
Yeah.
it.
Or ask
Yeah.
for help. Like, instead of, your friend coming over and cooking a meal for you, maybe that's not what you need, but maybe they could come over and vacuum.
Yeah. Or instead, like them coming over. I know it's hard, like as a new parent, like I'm
No one
terrible at
asks for
asking
help.
for help,
Yeah.
terrible at asking for help. But like even being like, can I just hold my baby and you clean instead of like you hold my baby? Because that's what people want to come over. They want to
Yes.
come and hold the baby.
Yeah.
And then I have to clean, but I'm exhausted and I don't
Yeah.
want to clean. So
Yeah.
it's just like someone else to have come cleaned.
Yeah. Or even like vouchers for people to come
Yes.
clean your home on a registry instead. Like
Yeah.
making like normalize baby showers to be about mom.
Yeah.
Like, and not to sound like and babies, ew, but like
Yeah.
the baby's coming. Yeah, it's coming. But it also is not going to remember any of the toys it had when it was 0 years old.
They're happy
Like
with a spatula.
exactly. You can enrich their life in a different way. They
Yeah.
might even love the Roomba. So
Probably they probably would.
honestly,
It's also a toy for children.
imagine one of those little
Just
like
kidding.
what are they called? Like bamboo chairs that you can like
Bumbo chairs.
yeah, that you can like strap the baby and you put it on the Roomba.
And it'd be safe. That would be really fun, but
That'd be super
don't take
fun.
our advice on that.
No,
That's not safe. We're
that's
not saying to
unsolicited
do
advice.
that.
I'm just saying, there's just things that you could do for yourself as a mom because the work is coming from you. Like all of this that's coming up, that's going to be brand new to you in your life is you. And yeah, babies are great. They're important. They're beautiful. Yes, of course, that's what's coming. But that doesn't mean you exclude yourself from the process. Like the baby shower, you can ask for things for yourself. You're going to need just things to keep
for
you comfortable
after.
and happy. Exactly. Like I definitely, yeah, like I'm all about that. Just be nice to yourself,
Yes.
please.
I think I went to a baby shower and a gift, like everyone obviously, like most baby showers is gifts for babies, and someone gave like a care package for mom for like I think a little bit like in hospital and like things that she would need, like lip chap, stuff like that.
Right.
And then like when she came out, and I'm like, that is a genius idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so smart. I loved that.
Actually, off topic, but have you heard of like thank you gifts for nurses and doctors? Have you heard about that?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. What was I on? I think it was like Pinterest. And they were like little, just like same thing, chapstick, like hand sanitizer, like face
I don't think
mask.
they want that anymore.
And it's just like a little baggie and it just is like, thank you for taking care of us. And it's like for the doctor. And I'm like, that's so thoughtful too.
I think I did hear from like nurses, like to get them like a fruit tray or like, because everyone always brings them like treats and stuff, but like when they're like working that long, like a fruit tray or like something healthier would be like, because then they can share, like that they can share with everyone. Because really, like when I was in hospital, I had like I think every nurse, so it's like, how do I just pick one? Right? So
you don't, I guess
but
you're bringing like 24 donuts.
But yeah, no, I really do like those.
Yeah.
That idea as well.
We strayed pretty far from routines.
Yep.
All right. What was your next one?
My next one. Oh yeah. No, that was routines, but remember then I got into like the mess and like that was that is still good. So we were still kind of on topic-ish.
Sort of.
In a way. Going back to like ones that like I didn't find that helped me. That put probably more stress on me is like, you should go out. They're fine. Like so she go out like I have
leave
double
them.
standards for that. Yes, leave them. Because like, yes, self-care is important. Yes. But if the parent's not like needing that or wanting it, like I'd rather be with my baby and I'm fine. Like then don't put that. But it's like, I'll just leave them with the babysitter.
Yeah.
Now,
don't
like,
put the guilt on.
I'm not
the parent.
Like, yes. Yeah. Like I don't want. I'm not stressed about leaving them with someone. I just like don't feel the need to go out.
Exactly. I think that that's important too, because it's kind of like if you have close people in your life that you would leave your baby with, they're going to hear from you the night that you want to get out of the house and away from the baby. And so, that unsolicited, like, it's okay to leave them.
Just leave them with me.
Yeah, that might be okay, but like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's totally like, really normal and fine.
I just carried this baby for 9 months. I want to
carry
it.
Yeah,
I do. I don't want to leave it. Like even now, Abby's 2, and I'm like, I'd rather just hang out with you.
Yeah. That's also just
But when I'm out, I'm like, yeah, this is great.
I think that's also just the joy of being a parent. Like you became a parent for a reason. Like you didn't become a parent just to have like, oh, tick, now I have children to pay for. Like hopefully. I mean, hopefully, hopefully you became a parent because you're like, oh, this is an extension of myself that I want to like enrich. Like, you know what I mean? Hopefully,
and I want to be around.
Yeah. And that's going to be your best life buddy now. And it's like, I'm going to teach you everything you know. You're going to love me, hopefully. Yeah. Like, yeah, no, I get that.
I also want to say, if you are a parent that you are wanting to give them to someone to babysit and go out, yes, because you need that. You need to fill that bucket for yourself. So yes.
An important note there too, Sarah. If you're a new parent, don't like accept judgment about how soon you leave them.
Yes.
Because that's also not fair. If you're a parent that needs social needs met outside of that baby in order to continue being a good parent, and it's been 13 weeks, that's okay. It's been 6 weeks, that's okay.
Especially during a pandemic.
Yeah. If they're staying with someone safe, you've got everything, whatever, either they're on formula or you pumped for them and you're good, you've got enough to keep them going. They can stay with grandma or with your husband or boyfriend or whoever is going to be with them and they're safe. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And then if you're out and you feel I should go back, then go back.
Or even if they are at home and they're not taking a bottle and they're struggling, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, like I think there's way too much guilt, and then we do it to each other too.
You said a word, and it's like so common. You just said it's not fair. Like that's totally exactly what it is. It's not fair to put that stress onto parents.
No, and it's like I'm doing it. So you're exactly what you said too. Like my cup needs to be filled. Like I need social time. There's people out there that need that. And that's how they keep going.
Yes.
Like I'm an introverted person. So in order for me to keep going, I need a nap. I need everyone to leave me alone.
Yes.
Like I need an hour nap in the darkness. I need no one interrupting. And that's how I recharge. And so I'm fine. But I have friends who are extroverted who need to go, who need to see someone. Yes. And so it's like, go.
Yeah. It's
better yet, leave your kid with me. We will sleep for an hour and you can go get your nails done. And then it's a win-win.
Yeah. Because I get rejuvenated. My cup's full and your cup's full.
Me and your child are napping. Yeah. Like I know.
No, but it is stressful to like just leave them in general. So to put that extra pressure on a parent isn't fair.
So both ways. If you need a break and you're okay leaving them, do it. Once you're out, exactly. Once you're out and you want to come back, do that.
Yeah.
If you don't need a break and you don't want to leave them, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like either way, it's as long as you are aware of how you're feeling and you're in a healthy situation, it's fine.
Yes.
But you have to know how you're feeling and just identify that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love that so much. I feel like I'm just going to be like, yes, all moms.
All moms. No, but it really is because like everyone's needs are so different. So like I didn't need that at the time and I was fine. Like I think I left her with my parents and I really didn't need to. They wanted to. And I'm like, whatever, I'll go out for like 2 hours. Did I need it? Nah, I'd rather have been home, but I just did it. And then I was like, but some parents really do need not even just going out. Like I was happy going to the grocery store by myself.
Yeah.
And that filled my bucket.
Yes. And so if you have a friend that just had become a new parent, call them.
Yep.
And see how they're doing. Like you might call them and they might be like, oh my God, thank you for calling me. I need to talk to someone other than no one. Or, oh, I'm doing great. I'm loving this. I'm fine. Like, because just reach out. Like that's something too that I find like lots of new parents go through this thing where if all of their friends are not parents, and they're the first to have a child, they become like isolated.
Yes.
Because
they're left out of everything.
There's no one else in that group that's relating necessarily.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is. You've got, good people in your circle. They're keeping you in mind. It's good. But there are people that they become a parent and their friend group, nobody has a kid, nobody understands. So they're not really reaching out, or they're not reaching out in the right way, where it's like, they might be calling you to be like, do you want to go here with us? And then you're like, I can't.
Like it's nap time at that time.
Right.
Or they don't, or they're just not understanding about those things. Yeah.
Or instead, like, hey, what are you up to? It's my lunch break. Could I come over and like I bring you some food and then you can shower?
Yeah.
Like that would be, I'd be like, you're the best. I would love to shower.
I love showering. I haven't and I don't know how long.
So I think like, yeah, keep your friends in mind. And often I think like people have kids and then their kids get older. You kind of start forgetting too. Like you kind of have to like relive newborns to like remember what it was like.
Yeah. And I think too, like just not even just reaching out and asking, just kind of feeling the vibes or just doing it, because like if they're like me, I would be like, I'm fine, like everything's great. But like, yes, I would have appreciated a shower.
Right.
Like just to pop in and be like, just go, like get in there, like a little force.
Yeah. Or just even using the bathroom.
Yeah. By yourself. It's a luxury.
Honestly.
It's a strange luxury.
I've heard.
Little fingers under the door. Mom.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's nice. Anyways, my next one here. Now, especially now that Abby's getting older, I see this, but like working with kids, like I've seen lots of different like advice and stuff. And honestly, I've probably given unsolicited advice more than I think we all have, because it's just a habit.
It's a habit. It depends on your role too.
Depends on your role. It's yeah. So this one was, my kid never did that and I just, so like maybe it comes down to like consequences or something. Do you get that? So my kid never did that. So like say
so someone's saying like
they're
my
biting.
Kids. Oh, okay.
Not even just biting, or even just like how they slept or how they eat or how like they do something, anything.
So like a bowel movement, like, oh, my kid never had blah, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah, it could literally be anything in the world. Like my kid never did that. I just did this. It's like, yes, they're giving you what they did, but it's just like, that's great. Your kid never did that. That's not my child though.
Right.
Like that's not how I'm raising them.
Yeah. A big part of that with communication too is like, if you're talking to someone and you say, oh yeah, when I eat that, my stomach hurts. And then just even as an adult example, when I eat that, I get a gut ache. And then an adult will respond, oh, that never happens to me.
Yeah.
And then you would say, or even in your head might say, okay, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But then right after that would come like, oh, you should try this. Or do you think maybe you're allergic? Or do you have a gluten allergy? Or are you whatever? And like as adults, we're just, yes, it's a back and forth. That's how we make conversation. Yeah. But I think it's less sensitive when it's about us. Because as soon as it's like, my child gets diarrhea when they eat this, and you'd be like, oh, my child never did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's competition.
Yes.
You get defensive.
Or it's like to your parenting styles.
Yes.
Like, well, I didn't parent that way. And like, maybe that's why they're doing that. Like maybe it is biting. Like sometimes kids go through biting phases. It's just how they're learning at that time. And then it's like, my kid never did that. I just did this when they bite. I'd bite them back, or I would do this, or I would do that. And it's like, but that's not the way I'm doing that. And that's not how I chose to.
So they're saying my kid never bit, but if they did, I would do this?
No, like, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, but so they're just making up
Maybe I might have mixed that up.
they're just making
Or
a
like
situation up.
or they can say like when my kid bit, I would just bite them back and they never did it again. But like that's not the way you're wanting. Sorry, I phrased that completely wrong.
No, I'm just well, it works. Some people do that.
They do. There's a lot of confusing advice out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
It
Like
does.
they're just comparing your child to theirs, even though everyone's parenting style is different. The environments are different.
And what you decide to do is going to be different. Like,
yeah, and like whatever,
yeah.
you're the parent, so you know what's best for your child, right?
Yeah. I mean, a good example of this too, it's like people who grow up in households that have like dogs.
Yep.
So you have a baby, you have a dog, you're on the couch, your dog comes up, it licks it, you're like, whatever. Dog. Yeah. Okay. A lot of people are very like, ooh, don't let your dog touch my baby. And then you're like, what do you mean? Why?
Yes.
And that, you know what I mean? But that's
a good
because of the way that you grew in your household. It's just normal in your household.
Yes.
Not normal in this household.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like the reading material bugs me, because it's like through generations, we've gone through the same like, ooh, don't give your baby peanut butter because it's bad for them. And now it's like, introduce them to peanut butter.
For allergies,
For allergies. It changes all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it. Like, it's like, just do what you're going to do. You know what the healthy boundaries are. Like,
and I think you just have to respect their opinion. So like go back to the dog example.
Yeah.
Yes, my child is licked all day from our dogs, but if someone came over and didn't want my dogs to lick their child, I would respect that.
The dog goes in the other room.
Yes.
Right. Or you ask them like, hey, my dogs love to lick babies.
Is it okay?
Are you going to be okay if they lick them?
Yeah, because it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But then, so just respecting other people's opinions as well.
For sure.
I feel like we're all over the place on this topic, but like
I like it.
I like it because you can come in at it. Like, I feel like unsolicited advice, like it has both sides on each topic, like, and it's how, like, whatever opinions you have as a person and as a parent, like,
that's
no matter
where your
what
advice
age
comes from. It's going to be your opinions and then your experience. So like
or how you were raised.
Right. You did something that was really successful for you and your newborn. And then you go and you give everybody that advice, but that's not going to necessarily be the case for them and their newborn.
Exactly. Like, even like potty training, I was successful with this one way. Is that going to work for every single person? No.
Right.
And I always tell people that, like, this worked for me.
Yeah.
But like,
try it.
You can try it, but it might not. But like, here's an option.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if people approach things that way, like maybe like try this, like this is what it worked well for me. But I think it's just how maybe people are phrasing these unsolicited advice.
I think they are just,
it's
the worst. Yeah. Unsolicited advice. I think like it's the worst when you get it from people you don't know, because when you get it from a friend or like someone who cares about you, you know, they care about you, and then they're giving you advice and you decide whether you take it or not.
You take it with a grain of salt.
You're probably close enough to that person too, to be like, yeah, I don't really think I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. But like when you have like a mother-in-law being like, everyone loves their mother-in-law.
I do actually.
I know. I mean, that's just the running joke.
No, I know what you mean.
But like you
or
have someone,
a stranger at the grocery store.
Just someone that you could kind of, maybe you don't have a good relationship with, or you don't know them at all. And then it's
a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend, or whatever it could be.
Anyways.
But whoever that person is that just grinds your gears, if they're ever offering you advice, they already annoy you.
So it's going to be unsolicited and not taken.
Either way, their advice is going to suck because you don't want to hear it. Like,
yes.
So that's probably like where we get a lot of that advice that like bothers us, because it's like, you know, I've been given advice about things where it's like, oh, you know, oh, you don't have energy to like work out. Like, oh, you're tired. Like maybe you're depressed. And then it's like, okay, like you're going a little deep. Like it's just, I just don't want to work out. And I don't really want to hear that maybe I'm depressed either. So like maybe instead you could offer to like, hey, I tried this program. Like, check it out. It's really motivating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And leave it at that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I think it's definitely how people are presenting it.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
who they are.
Yes, and who they are. And I think everyone means well when they're doing it. Like they
For
really
sure.
do. It's just coming out wrong. And I know I've been there too. Like I've probably said things, then I'm like, people are like, why would you even say that?
I
I'm
really,
like, I'm sorry.
honestly, right now having this conversation, I want like everyone I've ever given advice to that they were like, ew, I don't like that advice. I want them to like message me and be like, okay, one time, because I've given advice and I've been told that it's really good advice. And so I'm like, okay, great. But
I'm
never
a great
been
advice
told,
giver.
yeah. But then that doesn't stop me, right? Because then I'm like, I'll keep going because I'm giving great advice. But no one's ever said like, oh, your advice was really crappy this one time. And so then I'm like, I don't know those things. So how could I stop giving crappy advice if I don't know it was crappy?
So true.
So there's another side to it.
But it depends on the like circumstances and the situation of what you're talking about. Like maybe that circumstance you did give really good advice, but the next time it was a different topic, circumstance, and you couldn't maybe even relate to it, so you were just giving advice to give advice.
Yeah, or they asked for advice and I had no idea, so I just decided to give some advice.
It's like what a lot of our parents said when we asked is sleep when baby sleeps. Are you just saying that because that's the only thing you know to say to new parents?
Can I be honest? So when that one came in, I genuinely like I read it, sleep when baby's sleeping, and I read it and I was like, that's a fabulous idea. Like I honestly took it very like, yeah, that's great. I would love to sleep when they're sleeping. Like that it like great if I can, sure. Like I'd love to. But I didn't like dive into the deeper like assumption that's made when you say that. Because so we got some clarification because I was like reading that and I'm like, okay, I need someone to like clarify why this is like an upsetting
thing. Okay.
Why is it upsetting to receive that information as a new parent? Because to me, it's like I took it literally. It was like, oh yeah, I'd love to sleep. Like amazing.
I don't take it like upsetting. I just think it's I don't want to say a tease, but it's difficult and like almost unrealistic in a lot of circumstances. And sometimes you don't need to sleep. Like
So we actually got two different people who gave us like why. Why is it like an off-putting? So from one we got and thank you because this is a nice like thorough response and I enjoyed reading it because it made me think like, oh yeah, that's definitely
totally makes sense.
Pretty rude. So first they just said it's super annoying to hear that from people, which I understand now, but in theory it would be amazing if you could sleep as a new mom when your baby sleeps. Sometimes it happens and that's great. So that's where my head went.
Yes.
Is like this, sometimes it happens. So yeah, I'm forever an optimist. But it usually isn't very realistic with a newborn, especially in those first few months when you feel so overwhelmed and have so much to do aside from taking care of the baby. That's the other thing. Yeah, I guess like getting that advice, it's like, oh, okay, so I no longer do anything I did before the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know how much newborns sleep?
Not much.
No, a lot.
In very small amounts.
Exactly.
When baby sleeps, it's typically the only time that you get to clean, prep, feed yourself, pump, etc., especially if your significant other is working. Very true. I think it sometimes can unintentionally come off as rude, in that it can make you feel as if being home with your newborn is easy and you just have time to sleep. So I honestly, because I'm a napper, I took this very literally because I can sleep with the drop of a hat. So maybe I'm picturing like a baby they sleep for 20 minutes. I'm going to sleep for 20 minutes. Like, that's just kind of what I was picturing, I think. But remembering all the other things you'd have to do throughout your day, it's like, I cannot sleep when they're sleeping, because the minute they stop screaming and they're sleeping, I can do everything else.
I can go shower. I can go pee.
Mm-hmm.
I can brush my hair, or actually like brushing your hair, or doing your makeup for yourself or whatever.
Right. And so when I went online to kind of look further into this, because I was like, I need to look this up, because like I need to know more. Like, why is this bugging so many people? Like, this advice is like number one on every list, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Which is hilarious. And the one thing I found after looking it up was cook when the baby is cooking. Yes. And it made me laugh so hard, because it's like, well, the baby's not cooking. Actually, you're going to be feeding it.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, ding, like, thank you. Whoever wrote cook when baby's cooking just killed me. But yeah, it made me laugh, and then made me realize, like, okay, I understand, because that made me click into like all the other things that you're doing throughout your day. It's not just sitting at home with a baby, watching them sleep all day. Like,
yeah. And before you said it's not, or maybe the person who wrote in, it's like, you have all these other things. It's not easy to be, you're not just sleeping. You don't just have everything.
It's not easy. Yeah.
You're not just there and just, there's so much to do. And then new things, like if you do bottles, you have to clean bottles. You're like extra cleaning. You're just trying to maintain yourself, your new lifestyle. Like, this is all new.
Yeah. And so then I understand where sleep when the baby's sleeping, it comes off rude, because it does assume that it's easy.
Yes.
Just sleep when they're sleeping.
It's like, well, do you want dinner tonight? Like, I'm saying, like, if that was a husband saying that.
Yeah.
It's usually not. I'd probably hit
usually
him.
not.
Kidding.
Yeah.
But it's usually like, I find a lot of these unsolicited things come from like the older generations, where like those are the things that they're just used to saying, and like that's just what they say to like parents. Like, that's just like their go-to or something.
I guess too, which it is always kind of like older generation that is saying that. But in my mind, I just am thinking like, okay, but then they parented. So do they forget, or was it so much different that you were actually able to sleep back when they were parents?
I think they just missed out so much on sleep that they're like, just sleep when the baby sleeps. Like, I feel like it was I don't want to say harder, but like their standards like were different. Like, we know that we deserve to relax a little and stuff like that. Like, I feel like,
or we need to keep parenting.
Yeah. And I think that standard back then, it was like, no, you are like busy all day. You are like cooking like this fabulous meal, instead of, you're like, well, it's chicken fingers tonight because you know what, I'm tired because I didn't sleep last night. But like stuff like that, like I don't want to say it was harder back then, but I think because it's still really hard now, because we have different like social media and all of that stuff to put into effect, but harder in a different way. Oh no, I have lost Allie. Where did she go? I'm going to have to do this all by myself. Allie! 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 Come back! Well, I'll just give you some of my own advice. Unsolicited. Just kidding. I'll just wait. Allie went to the dark side. Back!
Oh, and it's still recording.
Yeah. I did a little thing, so you can just watch that later.
Oh, okay.
I was searching for you. If you were any longer, I was gonna do a little dance.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. I gotta be fully transparent. My computer is like an ancient brick. It's just like a MacBook from like the old ages of 2013. So yeah, they become like irrelevant
a year after you get them,
like paperweights. Yeah, so I think it just overheated maybe, but I'm back.
See, one of the struggles of these days, overheating.
Our lives are so hard. But yeah, I think like there's something else though that I always think about, like older generations, the way that they parented. There's a lot of different ways that they went through their day than we do. So like if you're a new mom and you work full time, let's say, and then you transition into your maternity leave to be full time with your baby, you're not prepared.
No.
So that's part of it too. You're kind of like learning.
You're just dropping.
You're learning the entire time. But then if we think back, like how long ago women were not working and they were home and their sole like mission in life was to be a home like keeper, which isn't true for everyone. I know a lot of women wanted to be in the workforce well before they were supposed to be, or allowed to be, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, it wasn't really, now it's more likely that you have people working than staying home. When back then it was the opposite. So I just wonder if it comes from that mentality too.
Okay. Yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's, once you get into generation wise, it's definitely a challenge because we've learned so much over the years of like, no, we don't do that to the baby anymore because it's not safe.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I just remember seeing a picture of like, I don't know if this is accurate. Is like a baby cage. So they'd put it outside their window and then they put the baby in there so they could get sunlight.
I love that.
It's like, okay, well, it doesn't go outside. But like we would not do that now.
No.
But that was the thing, right?
You wouldn't do it and like put it in the world that you do.
No. But like that was a thing. Like if they lived in an apartment, I don't know what it was. It was a long time ago.
I mean, that's a great idea if
in theory.
Like yeah, like it's like I'm trying to do a good thing and give them some sunlight.
Yeah.
And all I have is this cage in the window
to hang out over my
it's not any building. Different than a balcony, I guess.
Can fall. I don't know why that came to my mind out of anything else. But yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely different. And I mean, like quality of food was different. Everything we were eating was different. Yeah. There was less chemicals in certain things too. Like now we kind of have to deal with figuring out like what's actually processed properly and what's pumped right full of sugars and additives and color that like maybe isn't the healthiest. Yeah. So there's it's a lot different for sure.
Yeah. There's lots of other like ones. I think we could go on with this, like, and I would love to hear more if people do have other ones. But like, are those like, do they need a jacket or a hat? It's like, no, like for me, like Abby, she's really like,
runs
hot. So I just like, even sometimes I catch myself like, no, she doesn't need that extra sweater because she will just overheat, even though I want it on because I'm freezing.
Right.
But she would prefer to be like in shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
But like, so that like, you don't know that child. So why are you suggesting it?
Like, do you think the opposite is also true? Like, so as a new parent, when you first had Abby, it's like you have to keep them super toasty, and then you kind of have to determine the layers you're removing. Yeah. So at first, did you find that you were like overdressing her because it's like what you were told to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found because like we co-slept, right? So I would put her in like it was winter, so she was in like a fleece onesie. Normal, but then when she's with my body heat, she would wake up screaming because she is sweating and so hot. So she eventually, I learned that's why she was waking up and whatever. So she just slept naked and she would sleep so good. Right. She had like my body heat and everything. So she didn't need that extra layer. But that's what I was told to do. That you have to put them, dress them warm and cozy. And
I know. I
But she
know.
didn't need that. She was fine. Like even like in the hospital, like she was naked, like just with her diaper on the whole time, and she was happy as can be. Then we went home and I was dressing her and she was like, get these off. Even now, naked.
Naked. She runs
Naked.
hot.
She
Yeah.
does run hot. And like so like but if you don't know that, right? So if you're a stranger at the park and you see her running around in the cold without a jacket, you don't know that, or just like a light shirt, she's
Mhm.
hot, but you don't know that. So you're like, that's a terrible parent. Go put a jacket on them. Right? So
Yeah.
it is hard. So like people
Mhm.
mean well, and like if I did see like an infant without a coat on in the winter, I would still probably be like, do you want a jacket? Like
Yes. Yes.
so
I
like
know.
it is hard
Yeah.
because you are concerned, and I get that's where
Mhm.
those things are coming from
Yes.
sometimes. But
I know.
maybe, yeah, approach it nicely.
Yes. And it goes the opposite too, but like it's harder to tell people like you're overdressing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because
If
like
you're
how
overdressing, they are hot.
you figured it out because you slept with her and you literally felt the heat full on all the
Yes.
time,
Hmm.
where like babies get hot very quickly and
Yeah.
like they start to sweat very quickly. Like, and
Hmm.
they're not really sweating, they're just like you're sweating onto them.
Yeah. Because they're so hot. Yeah.
So then they're like damp on you
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, they're so warm and cozy.
But yeah, they're hot.
They're hot. They're
It
hot,
is
hot.
hard though, but yeah.
It's not hard. There's like that fine line of like comfortable heat and like overheating, like Abby.
And that's where just like not taking even like the nurse's advice of how to dress them, or like the book's advice to how to you should dress them. It's helpful in some ways, but you have to take them with a grain of salt and just know your child.
Yes.
That's all
Parents,
it is. It's just learning your child and what
yeah.
they need.
Do you remember? I wanted to ask you about advice like while you were pregnant
Mm,
because I'm curious as you got larger and more visibly pregnant, like so when you were early pregnant and like people knew
yeah.
versus like visibly pregnant, how did the advice change?
I think it would change from like what you're like supposed to be like eating and like don't do that, or like, and then it went into like just birth stories, like just
Mm.
dived into like I didn't don't take the pill, like don't take the drugs, take the drugs, do this, do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I was comfortable in myself that I already knew like what I wanted, or like,
Right.
and I was open to things. Like
Uh-huh.
I knew going into the hospital, I was open to whatever I needed to make myself
Mm-hmm.
happy and like the baby happy at the time, right?
Right.
So those things, but it was just like, oh, like I only did natural birth, or I did that. That's the best way to do it. Like those
Mm-hmm.
things more so as I got like bigger and more
Mm-hmm. More
pregnant.
visibly pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I go back, people just like telling their birth story. It's a
Mm-hmm.
happy time for them, or like it's a story for them, and that's all they really want. They
Mm-hmm.
don't even really, I don't think, care to really give you the advice, and they don't care what you're going to choose to
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
don't. They just want to tell their story. They just
Oh
want to
yeah.
talk about their baby.
I don't
Yes,
think
it is.
anyone I don't think anyone that like recollects or talks or tells their birth story is actually telling it to be like you should do it like this,
No.
because every single woman knows that every single birth is going to be different.
Yeah.
Like so it doesn't matter if like the way you ended up doing it was like the perfect like, you know, error free,
Hmm.
amazing, felt great. Like, yeah,
That's how you went in with the plan.
you
Whatever.
could tell that a person your story, and then they like, I mean, they could go into their plan and be like, I want to do it just like Sarah.
Hmm.
And then they could get there and it'll be like, I can't do it just like Sarah. Like,
Nope.
and I know, like, one thing that I read that was like actually stuck with me, and I think it's really a good thing, is not to be married to any plans,
Yes.
because your
Totally.
plans will change and
Yeah.
then you are going to be in like a very confused state of shock when you can't do what you planned on
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah. I totally went in that way. Like I knew like plans change,
Mm-hmm.
and I was super open-minded. that's what my advice to every parent that I always talk to is like, no matter what, just go in open-minded.
Yep.
That's the only really advice that I really want to give them. But even in that situation, because in your heart, it's kind of different. Like I went in, I wanted to do a natural birth, tried it. Like we were there for whatever. Anyways,
you have your plan.
You have a plan, but I was super open, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I do the drugs, I do the drugs. If I don't do the drugs, I don't.
Right.
And then it was just like, and I went in like, if I have to have a C-section, I can have a C-section, whatever, to get baby out healthy, right?
Right.
But I was still disappointed I had to have a C-section because that's not, it wasn't on the plan. Like it wasn't
what you wanted.
It wasn't what I wanted, but right. So
there's
still some disappointment,
I
but
know.
would I go back and be like, no, and fight it? Like, no, my baby came out healthy. And that's how we had to do it.
Yeah. And all women are different because there's women out there who would be like, sign me up for the first C-section.
Yeah.
Like available. So like everyone's different.
And I think in the moment, like you're just so emotional at the time. So, and you're like, I don't want to say emotions. What is it? Like hormones are everywhere. So that's also affecting those things. So if you are going in, like I've seen like the books, like people have like planning books. It's like, this is the music I want to listen to.
Like a playlist. That's amazing.
Just give me the ice chips and I'm good to go. Leave.
You sound like my mom.
Ice chips and lip chap is all I wanted. That's all I cared about.
Oh my goodness.
Until they took the ice chips away, and then I'm like, give me my ice chips. Because when I was going for a C-section, I wasn't allowed to have liquids, and I'm still like upset about it. Brings back terrible memories. I was so thirsty.
The ice chips would have been so nice.
They are, I don't know what they put in their ice, but it's so good.
Bring your own ice?
No.
They take away,
the
ice. No, they take away the ice chips, and then you have a little.
I'll have my own. I should have like put it aside, hit it. No, not going into a surgery. But best ice around. Any parent listening that has given childbirth,
hospital ice is number one.
It is. Oh, I don't know what they do to it.
It's probably just really clean water.
Oh, I don't know. It's good stuff.
So
gonna have another baby just for the ice chips.
Just for the ice chips. Just gonna continue having babies just so I can have the ice.
Yeah.
That's
there we go. Perfect. Anyways.
Is there an age you turned where you started getting advice about becoming a mother?
Where I started getting, like before I had her?
Before you even, it was even like
even a thought?
Yeah. Did anyone ever, like when you were young, I'm asking this because I've received advice like this as like a young 20-something. So I want to know if anyone's ever like given you unsolicited, like when you become a parent advice.
I think I have, but only because of the field I work in. So I think that, but maybe it's just because I'm a woman.
So I have a story, and it's funny. When I lived like in Ontario, I worked at a few recreation centers, and I used to work in like the pool. I would teach a lot of the parent and taught classes. So I was teaching a newborn and a mother class where I would teach them how to introduce their child to the water. So the children would be as little as like 3 months, and I was dunking them underwater and showing parents how to dunk them. I was unfazed because 1, they were not my children, and 2, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had learned how to do it, and I had done it many, many times successfully. And then I also knew what to do if it didn't go so well.
Yes.
So I was like unfazed. It was just, okay, we're going to do this. Are you ready? Watch what I'm doing. Here we go. And it was like, I actually remember, I think the youngest I had was even a few weeks because it was like a tiny, tiny little baby and very like bony little, just like that little baby.
Little blob.
Little blob. And I was like 19. So I like dunk this blob. Blob goes underwater. Blob comes up. Blob loved it. And mom loved it. Like that mom was like, oh yeah, amazing. Then she went off. She was dunking them, whatever. And then I had parents that were uncomfortable, but like they came because they wanted to try. Obviously, they didn't. No one forced them to be there. But they were really uncomfortable, and so I did everything like I possibly could think of to make them like trust me. And I was trying really hard to sell it in a way where it was like, I wouldn't do this if I didn't know how to do it. Like, so like just give it a shot. If you hate it, just don't come back. Like, it's fine. Like nothing is going to happen, like whatever. And people read like horror stories where it's like, they're going to get water in their lungs. They're going to drown later.
Oh, yes.
But that's a whole lot of water. That's not the thing that we're doing. They're not even breathing or inhaling. They're not breathing or inhaling underwater because of the way that we're doing it. Like they can't. Their reflex is to not breathe. So it's just not going to happen. But you have parents with fear, and that's fine. Like you're a new parent, and I get it. So one time I got like yelled at by a mom after dunking their baby. Baby came up. You knew they weren't breathing underwater because when they came up, they went, which is like a natural response to coming up out of the water. And mom got like freaked out because she'd never seen them like do that to catch their breath, which is fine. And they do it. And I've seen it 100 times. So I'm like, okay.
That's what they're supposed to do.
And I felt so bad. And so because I just stood there, I was like, great job. Yay. And like your reaction is everything because the baby will cry.
Yep.
So I'm like, great job. Yay, you did it. And I'm like smiling. And that mom was like, I hope you never become a mother because you have no soul. You must have no soul to just be dunking children and then laughing at them when they come out of the water without any air. And I'm just like, how do you think they come out of you when they're born? They had no air for 9 months.
Oh my goodness.
So I like in that job, like you're saying, in the role that you're in, like I was getting like every angle, like, well, when you're a parent, it'll feel different. When you're a parent, you're going to be scared of this. When you're a parent, you're this. And it's like, how do you know I even want to be a parent, first of all?
Yeah. You're like, first of all, I'm 19.
I'm in school. Like, I'm busy. Second of all, like, I definitely don't want to be you. It was just, like, unsolicited, though. Like, you shouldn't ever.
Yeah.
Then to get advice about, like, early pregnancy is annoying because that's kind of just also, like, you should eat well. And then you hear all these women and it's like, I can't even look at food.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat at all.
Yeah. Eat what you can. And if that's a hamburger, then go for it.
That's fine. Or like late in pregnancy, you know, you're like just almost at the end, let's say like month 8, month 9, uncomfortable. And then you've got people like, you should really try and exercise right now, or like get ready, or like prepare better. And you're like, what? I'm tired. Like, I just think it depends. Like if someone asks you for advice, give them advice. But like if they're just standing there at Walmart and then you come up as like a random stranger and you're like,
old man.
Yeah, you should probably put socks on your child.
It's like, no. No,
I won't.
I don't want to
take them off.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot more work for me.
And then I have to go around Walmart looking for them. So.
Yeah, or buy new ones. Yeah, no, totally. So, and do you know what? Unsolicited advice, I don't think it ends. I think it goes into teen years. It goes into really like adults. As adults, we get it all the time too.
Well, and you have a toddler now.
Yes.
So unsolicited advice for your toddler.
I think it goes down to like behavior and like consequences at that point. As they get older, a lot of that I think because like, oh, this worked for my child, or I can't think of like a certain one like that I've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like the times right now can't hang out with anybody. So that's, I don't get that much, and people
Right.
aren't really communicating as well. But I see that a lot, like in the past, like working with families, it usually comes down to like behavior and stuff, um, problems or something like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and even as like teens, like, but I don't know if like maybe parents are looking for that when they're older too, especially when they're teens. Like, I know I probably will be like, help me. I don't know what to do with this thing. But yeah, I think we just have to all get used to it, and like as long as you can handle it and not put the pressure on yourself
Mm-hmm.
to have to live up to those expectations.
Yeah, laugh it off if you can.
Yeah, like take it as you will, and like, okay, whatever, or like just don't take it to heart.
No.
Like, you're not a bad parent.
Or if it's coming from someone, like you've asked for the advice and you know you're in a spot where you need it, and then you get that advice, like don't be too hard on yourself, but like do what you can.
Yeah. Or if you don't like the advice still and you've asked for it, like that's
Mm-hmm.
just what they got. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's all they've got.
You don't have to do it.
No. Don't feel pressure. Don't not have children just because you dunked them
Yeah.
and scared someone.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, when I think back to that, I'm like, man, I was a horrible person.
Who would say that? No, that's a horrible person. Who would say that to someone?
Well, like scared.
She was scared. I get that. But
I just
know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
I
I think also like it's nobody's business too.
Yes. Yeah.
On that note, like it's no one's business. So what you decide to do at home, the way you decide to deal with things, if we're talking discipline, it's your business.
Yeah.
If you discipline because you read a book and that's the way you want to try it, go for it. If you want to do the timeout thing, if you want to do like taking away their favorite toy for some amount of time.
If you want to do nothing.
Or if, yeah. And you know what? Lately I've been seeing that too. It's like a shift in the way you discipline also. So like you're going to do it how it works for you. But there's people now where they're looking at ways to discipline where it's like, instead of disciplining, you're having a heart to heart because you want to know what is actually going on.
Positive parenting.
Yeah, like what's going on in the situation that's making them act up,
Mm-hmm.
and what can be done to make them not act up. Like, is there just something that can be fixed to help? So, I mean, there's so many ways to do it, but
and
like
it's going to constantly change.
Yeah. And yeah, as your kid gets older too.
Yeah. I think overall, you know, like parents know their child best. So just learn from your child, learn their cues, learn about them, especially if they're older, take an interest in them and what they're doing. And that's where you're going to be best off.
And also for yourself, you know yourself best, and the way you're doing things, if it's working for you, keep doing it. But don't just do it because someone told you that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
Do it the way you want to do it.
Social media says that you have to do it. Social media says we should all be TikTok moms. You know what? I don't want to be.
It's too much work.
I don't know how to do that.
I can't
know how to do those dances.
No. I haven't even tried because it's like, I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah. Those are on the internet. They're there forever.
Like, and I mean, the people doing it and they look great. And then it's like, yeah, this is great. Like, I would watch this. You're hilarious. You're entertaining. Like, this is so funny.
Oh, I love watching them.
Yeah. But then, like, to think of myself doing that, I'm like, no, I'll just watch it.
Yeah, I'll be the watcher. I'll like it for you.
They need someone watching.
They do.
We can't all just be on there. We got to watch.
Yeah.
Someone's got to watch.
Yeah. Anyways, unsolicited advice.
Unsolicited advice.
Watcher.
Be the watcher. Just do your thing.
Or be the doer.
I think ultimately the best advice I've ever gotten, and it's like general life advice, but applies so well to moms. Just think about yourself in that moment because at the end of the day, you only have yourself. So the kinder you can be to yourself about anything that you're going through, the better it'll translate to anything you're doing in your life. So if you're kind to yourself because ABC happened and you've also got a baby in the mix, the kinder you are to yourself, the better off your baby's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
happy mom, happy baby.
Just be kind, be patient with yourself. Do the things for you that you need. Don't worry if that seems selfish. Sometimes you have to be a little selfish. It's just such like a fine line. Don't feel guilt.
When your cups are empty and when your cups are full.
Yeah.
See our previous podcast to learn about cups.
Cups. What kind of cups we're talking about?
A lot of reference.
Lots of different cups out there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like just kind of pay attention to yourself and take advice lightly. Unless you think it's great advice, then jump in.
Do what you got to do.
But don't be upset also if someone gives you advice and you look at them and just go, no thanks. Don't feel bad about that. We're all human. Like, it's a valid reaction. No, thank you. I will not be doing it that way. But thanks for your advice.
Opinion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's totally fine. So next week we're back with Anna.
For part
2 of the saga of sensory processing, which is super exciting because I feel like I understand so much more about life when I talk to Anna.
I know.
I'm like, why do I feel?
This just makes sense.
You're like, why do I feel more alive right now? I felt so dead inside before I spoke with Anna.
Okay.
It's not that deep, but Anna's great.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we will see you on the next one.
See you on the flip side.
Goodbye.